teach you how to decide on, what you want to achieve, right? How to literally decide on what you want to, what you want to, what income goal you want to reach, and how to predict that you're going to do it. Okay, and especially with what's coming up here with the idea and Empower Network over the next 2 to 3 months, it's going to be very, very, very predictable. Okay, and so I will just dive into this thing. Let's see if I didn't miss anything. Okay, I'm not sure I didn't miss anything in any of the announcements. Okay, if I remember anything else, I'll tell you. Okay. Cool. One thing I will tell you guys is I have somebody else here on the webinar that you will be hearing from a little bit later on. Okay, second half of this webinar, and he is going to be talking about some things that will I personally think is going to it's going to blow your mind. It's going to open your eyes on a lot of things, and what we want to do, what we're actually not what we want to do, but what we're doing. Okay, what I'm doing with Big Idea Mastermind is, first of all, this is not going to be just and I said this from the beginning. I don't want this to be a Vick show. Okay. This is us. This is you. This is your team. This is my team. This is us. Collaborative effort, right? And so one thing that we're doing is I'm big on making I'm kind of separating yourself and standing out from the crowd, right? So every single day, my thinking goes, how can we stand out in the from other marketers? How can we stand out from other systems and whatnot, other teams? And how can we make our people the most money? How can we make Big Idea Mastermind Group to be the richest group in the industry, period? Okay? And so it hit me, okay? You know what? This industry is very, very, very canned, all right? If you look at what's out there, it's very canned. All right, people trying to make it by themselves, and the idea behind Big Idea Mastermind was to bring group of people together with one vision. Okay, and if we all come together, we have a lot of talent. I met a lot of you guys in Denver, and a lot of you guys have just tremendous talent. Okay, we got PPC experts, we got experts on SEO, how to rank your stuff on first page of Google, in lightning fast. Right, I have met some of you guys, and you guys were, you guys have some really, really unique abilities. So what we're going to start doing here is we're going to be coming together, and if you have, and obviously there's going to be filters and stuff like that, but somebody has a cool resource, somebody has a cool, unique knowledge. We're going to be pulling those efforts together, so it's not just about Vick, or it's not just about this is Vick's thing. This is us. Right, and so together when we bring our resources together, it's going to be we're going to this is going to turn into a force that, guys, nobody will be able to stop. I mean, this industry, we can go and we can crush through anything, but really anything, right? If we just stay united. So that has been my vision from the beginning, and now I see this thing coming together very, very nicely, and it just fires me up like nothing else. Very, very excited. So one thing that we're bringing to Big Idea Mastermind that will take you and your income and your teams, and it's just going to explode your business. It's going to explode your bank account, and not only from just doing more business, guys, but from having knowledge that literally 99% of people on this planet don't have. And when we bring, what if we brought the knowledge to you that guys like Donald Trump and Tony Robbins and Robert Allen, what do those guys know that we don't know, right? And so I will tell you how we're going to do that, right, guys? But it's going to be very, 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 very cool, and you'll be very excited when you hear that. Okay, so Nick is going to be talking to you about that, and I promise you, you might not sleep for the next 3 days after you hear what we have prepared here for you guys. Cool. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight into the I'm going to share my screen with you here real quick. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And again, pay close attention because this stuff you can use in your business as well. Okay. Share my screen. Let me see if I can go ahead and share my. Cool. Okay. If somebody's on Skype or on text, if you guys can text, I'm not going to be on Skype. If you guys can text me, maybe Nick, if you can do that. If everything is cool, just let me know that you guys can see my screen. Everything is cool, okay? If something goes wrong, then just let me know as well. Okay, cool. Here's the deal, folks. Okay, I'm going to walk you through an exercise that I did for myself. You know, and this is the exercise I go through every single time when I set myself a new goal. Okay, and I think it's going to be very useful for you to model for yourself. And I'm going to show you how I come up with figures. Okay, so my goal, personal, is $1 million per month with Empower Network through Big Idea Mastermind in the next 90 days. Okay, in fact, by December 1st, I will be at $1 million per month. Okay, notice I didn't say I'm going to try to. In fact, if you say try, that's the worst. You know, one of the worst things you can do to yourself in your business is say I'm going to try. All right, you don't try. You either do or you don't. Okay, so December 1st, I am there. Okay, how do I come up with that number? Well, first of all, you make a decision. Okay, here I'm gonna. A lot of this stuff I do naturally, and I don't even think of that, right? But what I did is I kind of sat back and I thought to myself, what, how do I make decisions when I make decisions? What am I looking for? What makes me make certain decisions, and how do I come up with them? So I'm gonna show you five steps to really, doing something massive in your business, okay, or your life if you want to apply it there as well, okay. So step number one is very, very obvious, my friend. You want to have a crystal clear target. You want to know exactly what you want to achieve. Okay, very, very, fundamental stuff. We've been talking about this, for forever now. All right, so know exactly what you want. You want to, you want to write yourself a goal card, and it has to be written. Okay, your goal has to be written down. Again, fundamental stuff. I'm not going to talk about that too much because we talked about this. We talk about this stuff all the time, okay? Step number two is, you want to know why do you want it, okay? Figure out exactly why do you want it, because if there is no why behind it, the goal is useless, okay? Why do you want it? You got to know exactly why do you want it. And if you guys went to Hawaii, those of you guys who've been to our retreat, we actually went through that exercise together, okay? I'm not going to go through that right now because it's probably going to take like 2 hours to do that, and I want to fly through this stuff in about 15 minutes or so, okay? And I'm going to bring on Nick, and we're going to talk about some things that will help you accomplish all this stuff together. All right, so step number 3 is you need to create a game plan. All right, you need to create a game plan for how you're going to achieve your goals. Okay, remember, step 1 is you want to know exactly what your outcome is, exactly what you're shooting for. All right. Step number 2 is you want to know why you want to do this. Step number 3 is you want to create a game plan that will get you there. Okay. Now, a lot of times when you're starting out, and if it's something brand new, okay, a lot of times it's going to be kind of difficult to gauge, right? It's going to be, you have to kind of guess on a lot of things. Like for example, you don't know. If I was just starting out the idea mastermind right now, right, didn't have the numbers, didn't have anything to, to kind of back up my my estimations or whatever, right, I would have to guess on a lot of things, okay? Like I would have to guess what route I would take, what vehicle I would use, what system I would use, that kind of stuff, right? But this step number 3 is creating a game plan. It's going to be actually going to be simplified because we have data right now. Okay, and my estimations and my calculations are going to be very, very scientific. All right, and in fact, I can calculate it down to the number. All right, I can break it down to the ridiculous. In fact, which is exactly what I'm going to show you. And for you guys, it's going to be a very good reference point. All right, because of the number of the data that we have here. okay, in Big Idea Mastermind. As of right now, we have 12,500 members. Personally, I have, I don't even know. In fact, I haven't even checked. Let's do this right now. Okay, I'm going to walk you through this, guys, and I'm going to walk you through this so that there is no guessing. All right. I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. Okay, so again, being completely transparent with you guys, this is, let's see, 1,731, and let's see if there is anybody else that joined that didn't get passed off. Okay, so my personal sign-ups with Empower Network ER, let's see, what's that number? 1,733, okay? In fact, let's do this together. 1,733, okay, see that? So now you can, you know, if you have 12 sign-ups or 2 sign-ups or no sign-ups yet, right? You can still use my data because the conversions are going to be very, very similar, okay? And I'll tell you why in a moment here, okay? So you can use this data. We're going to do this together, okay? So personally, although we have 12,500 people in Big Idea, I only personally sponsored 1,733 people, all right? So 1,733 basic, all right? And I can only go after my personals because this is what I have control over, all right? So, there's 5 products in Empower Network. You guys know that, yes? There's, you know, blogging system, there's the Inner Circle, Costa Rica, 15K formula, and Master Course, okay? So, creating a game plan for myself, here's what I do, all right? I'm going to look at the data for other products as well, okay? So I got 1,700 basics. I will see how many Inner Circles I have active, all right? And again, these are active members who are actually paying, all right? And we're going to take a look at that number so that we can calculate our prediction. Somebody says they can only see half of my screen. Is this okay? Nick, can you see my entire screen then? Can you see this whole thing? So 1016 here, and these are my, you know, this is the number that I passed up. And again, remember, I passed up my every fifth. That was 1016. Let me see if I have anything else here. Let's see, 1016. 1018, okay? So 1,018 people are in my, hold on. Hold on one sec. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? You guys can't see that. Okay, so that's why. Let me do this. Let me share my entire screen with you. That way you will be able to see everything. I'm gonna share my desktop application with you guys here. Cool. Okay, now you should be able to see everything, right? You should be able to see my entire desktop. All right. Cool. So here is what I was writing this, right? So 1,733 basics. I have 1,018 Inner Circle members. All right. And then I want to know out of those how many upgrading to the next level, which is Costa Rica. Okay, Costa Rica Intensive. I'm going to pull up that stat right here, and I will take a look. Okay, 701 here. Let's see, and 71. All right. 71 and 7. Okay, so 740 is the actual number. 704. Costa Rica. Okay. And then how many people are in the next level, which is 15K formula? Active. Okay. 15K formula is going to be, let's see, 581 here, and 581, 584. All right, so 584, that's 15K. 15K formula, and then as far as master score, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this, guys, in just a minute, and everything's going to be crystal clear for you. Okay, I actually want to show you this because of the things I'm going to be teaching you, and you need to be in the loop, and I want you to be completely clear on exactly how I'm going to do things. All right, 231, and there we got 230. Okay, so my latest sign up was a pass off here, and it's at 231. All right, so that's the number. So 231. 231 masters. Okay, so what I want to know now, okay, is, okay, remember, in goal, okay, is 1 million a month. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to break this down. Okay, guys, this is how I create my plan. All right, your goal is whatever. Okay, it doesn't have to be a million. I'm just walking you through this exercise from my perspective, so you guys are clear. I want you to be clear. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do this. All right, it's going to be very, very cool. Okay, cool, Mark Soto. I got your text, brother. Cool. All right, so the goal is very clear. All right. What I need to know is I need to know. Where's my calculator? Right here. Okay. We're gonna do this together. Hopefully, you guys can see all my windows here open. All right. So 1 million, and again, whatever your goal is, you take that number divided by. I'm gonna take 30 days. Okay. 30 days. That's gonna come down to 33,333 per day. Okay. And again, I'm calculating growth right now. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say my daily goal, because I like to keep things, you know, I don't want to underestimate. Okay, I would like to overestimate, and here's what I mean by that. All right, instead of saying 33,000, I'll just make it simple. I'm going to say $35,000 per day. Okay, I'm going to round it up because I don't want to make it easier for me. I want to make it harder. Okay, I want to shoot for the stars, so that way, you know, if I hit the moon that's closer, I'm still okay. Does that make sense? So don't round down. All right, you want to round it up. Okay, that's what I do personally. And by the way, folks, we're talking about numbers here. I want to disclaim real quick. You know, my income does not guarantee your income. All right. And what I like to say is, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm not average. Okay, folks, I am not, you know, my results are not typical. Because I am not typical. Okay, I don't do things that typical people do usually, right? I mean, typical people, they don't want to read. Typical people don't want to get on these webinars. Typical people don't do what I do. Does that make sense? And so that's why I'm not typical. And I hope that you are not typical as well. Right? I hope that you're listening to my voice tonight. I hope that you are not typical. Okay? But just remember, you might make, you know, 2 million a month. You might earn 0. Okay? I can't guarantee or promise your results. All I can do is I can show you exactly what I do in my business. And I want you to model that for yourself, all right, and see if that's going to work for you as well, okay? But I'm going to be completely transparent because I will be leading by example, folks, and my goal, personal goal, is to have the richest group of people in Big Idea Mastermind, you guys to be the richest group of people, the most, you know, educated, the most, you know, the most savvy people when it comes to making money, when it comes to creating wealth, because Big Idea Mastermind is not going to be just another opportunity. With what we have coming out for you guys, is going to be it's going to be a wealth-building empire. Okay, and I said this in Denver, all right? I told you guys this in the email. It's going to be the wealth-building empire. And I'm about to show you exactly how we're going to do this, right? And the reason I'm doing this is because I will be leading by example. Okay, I want to be, you know, I want to be up there. You know, you don't want to listen. If I was, you know, if I'm making 10,000 a month, you know, and if I'm going to try to teach you how to make $1 million, don't listen to me. All right, don't listen to me. Okay, if you want to earn $20,000 per month, you want to listen to people who are earning $200,000 a month. If I want to earn $1 million a month myself, you know what? Next, on the 14th, all right, I'm actually going to New York. I'm going to be hanging out with people who earn billions of dollars a year. All right, I want to hang out with those guys because that's going to up my game. All right, and so just, you know, so you understand that. Okay, cool. But I'm going to round it up. I'm going to say I need $35,000 per day. All right, that's my goal. Okay, now based, I have a little bit of an advantage here because based on my current numbers, these numbers right over here, all right, I can calculate my my upgrade, right? And here's how I'm going to do that, all right? I want to see what the percentages are, okay? So 1018 divided by 1733, okay? So we got 58% upgrading, okay, from basic to inner circle, all right? Let's see how many people are upgrading from inner circle to the Costa Rica. 704, okay, divided by 1018. So out of those people who upgraded to the inner circle, 69% are upgrading to Costa Rica, okay? 69%. So out of those people who upgraded to Costa Rica, let's see how many are getting 15K formula, all right? Because these numbers will be important in my calculation. Make sense? 584, 15K divided by 704, right? About Costa Rica. 82.9%, all right? You know what? I'm not going to, in this example, when I'm calculating my averages or my conversions, I would like to round it down, right? Because, again, I want to make it harder for me, right? I don't want to make it too easy so that I can, I would rather work a little bit harder, but then all that rest of those extra points or whatever, right? Like, for example, instead of 82.9, instead of saying 83% conversion, I was actually going to say 82%. So I'm going to give myself an extra point of a buffer, all right? So that, if it's actually 83%, that would be like a bonus, okay? So I'm just showing you how I do things personally. So now we have 231 that actually upgraded to masters, divided by 584, okay? That the 15K formula members, and that's 39.5%. Okay, so I'm going to say 39% actually upgraded. Okay, guys, these are my stats. We just pulled it up in front of you, and you have, you just witnessed it, right? So that's cool. Now, what do I need, right? Well, in order for me to earn $35,000 per day, okay, $35,000 per day, here's what I need. Knowing these numbers here, right? What I need is, I said this. I just pulled this number out of thin air, okay? And then I started to play around with this, and I actually got it down to an actual number that I actually need, okay? So initially, I thought to myself, well, to make $35,000 per day, hold on a second. Okay, so looks like some buffering, some delays. We're just gonna roll. Okay, hopefully you guys can. Hopefully it's good. Mark Soto, let me know if it's delaying for you as well, man. Because somebody just said that it delays legs too long. When I look at this, right, and I say, okay, so 35,000 per day, what would be my number? And initially I said, well, I would need to get like 70 sign-ups per day, okay? And then I ran my numbers based on that, and it was way more than what I'm shooting for, right? So then I said, okay, so how about if I just say my daily sign-up for basic, okay? Let's say if I say 50 per day, okay? 50 basic sign-ups per day. Now, before you say this is absolutely crazy, folks, let me tell you something. It's actually very, very, that's what really actually fires me up, okay? Is because of what I'm going to actually about to show you in a moment, okay? So, without taking too much time to tell you how I came up with this number, it's not important, but the important thing is I came up with a number that I need to focus on for daily sign-ups per day for basic level. Okay, so here is the breakdown. Okay, so let's say if I have, let's see, where's my thing here, real quick. Okay, I actually did some math here. Okay, so for me to earn $1 million, right, I need to have 50 basic sign-ups per day. Okay. 50 basic sign-ups times, well, let's see here. Let's calculate this. Based on this number, okay, so if I have 50 basics, okay, that would be, take a calculator here, based on these percentages, so if I have 50 basic members per day times, 69%, actually 58% of those will as you can see here, right, 58% will actually upgrade to the inner circle. So I take 50 times 58%, okay, 0.58. So that would give me 29. 29 people will go to inner circle, okay? So then 29 people, out of those, 69% will go to Costa Rica. So I take 29 times 0.69%. Okay, hope you guys are following me here, okay? So that will give me 20 people will go to Costa Rica, okay? So then 82% of the 20 people, okay, 20 people times 82%, 0.82, again, based on these current stats, 16, and again, I'm going to round it down now because I would, I want to make myself work a little bit harder, okay? 16 will actually go to 15K formula, okay? And then out of 16 people, I have 39% of people upgrading to the master's course, okay? So 6.24, again, I'm going to say 6, all right? 6 people will go to master's course, okay? These would be my breakdown numbers. And again, you can actually use these percentages, guys, for yourself because the model is going to be is going to give you about the same percentages right here, okay? Because of what we're rolling out with Big Idea Mastermind. You can actually use these actual numbers because these are proven numbers, okay, guys? I'm not doing anything personal. I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing anything that I'm not telling you guys, okay? In fact, I don't call anybody, I don't email anybody, I don't email any of my people to say, hey, you need to upgrade or whatever. Everything is as you see it in the back office, okay? Now, these numbers are about to increase by big time because we have phase 2 completed, right? When 30 Days to 10K program it becomes available on the 8th, right? I think that was the date I told you, right? Don't have it written down here somewhere. 15K, yep, August 8th. Yep. When August 8th comes in, folks, a lot of people, a lot of you guys who are not at the platinum or diamond yet, you guys will be upgrading there because you will want to get access to those products, but you will want to get access to those trainings. And so your people will be doing the same thing, right? So I would not be surprised if our, Costa Rica conversions would be, instead of 69, that would be like 89%, right? And then Costa Rica to inner circle would be or Costa Rica to 15K formula would be like, 95%. I wouldn't be surprised at all right? And then master scores would be like over 50%, okay? But again, these are just bottom line numbers. And so you can actually use these percentages for your calculations for your income as well, okay? There's a reason for me walking you through this because I'm about to show you how easy it is to actually achieve this number that you're looking for, okay? For me, it's 50 sign-ups per day for the basic level. For you, it might be whatever, okay? Check it out, okay? 50 times, and this is what I do, okay? So 50 times 25. Oh, 50 new $25 customers per day, times $25 because you're getting paid 100% commissions, right? Equals 1250, and this is daily. Okay, then out of those we'll have 29 people. 29 people times $100. Okay, for the inner circle that would give us $2,900. Okay, so then we'll have 20 people paying $500. All right, 20 times 500, which is in Costa Rica. Okay, that's 10,000. All right, 20 times 500, 10,000. All right, then we'll have 16, right, paying $1,000, which is how much you make for 15K, right? 1,000. That would be what? 16,000. Okay, and then we'll have 6 paying. We'll just do this together, right? 6 times 3,000. That would be 18,000 for the master's course because we're getting paid $3,000 for every master's course sale, right? That would be 18,000. Okay, so we just take that times or plus, you just add these numbers, 18,000 plus 16,000, all right, plus 10,000 And the cool part is coming, folks. 10,000 plus 2,900. 2,900 plus 1,250. Okay? And so my daily income, look at this. My daily income will come up to 48,150. Okay? You say, Vic, this is crazy, bud. It is. Okay? It is. Now, here is here's what you need to focus on. Again, I'm walking you through my numbers. Your numbers are different, so you got to run this through your numbers. Okay? I want to, again, the only reason, guys, I'm showing you this is because I want to be completely transparent with you. Now, we pass up every fifth sale, correct? We pass up every fifth sale. So I'm going to pass up every fifth of the, $25, $100, $500, $1,000, and so forth. Okay? Now, I pass it up to my sponsor. Okay? My sponsor is going to absolutely love me, obviously, right? But that's okay. That's just how the business is structured, right? Which is cool. I don't mind that. I did some calculations on that, right? And that comes out to, so my daily income is going to be right at about $35,000 roughly. Okay. So because the rest of the stuff is going to be, is going to be passed up. Okay. So now the question is, okay, the question is, friends, is this: how do I get 50 sign-ups per day? Okay? How do I get that? 50 new $25 sales per day. Okay? Now, this question is going to set you free, my friend. Alright? This is the question I constantly ask myself. Hold on one sec. What's up, Nick? I'm closing. Okay, it's probably your connection then or something. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just can't see. I just only got one monitor. Okay, and then somebody said that I'm frozen, but should be good to go now. Okay, so how do I get 50 new $25 sales per day? Okay, is the question you should be asking yourself over and over and over and over again. Okay, and over again. Your number, whatever that number is. So here's how you calculate it for yourself. Okay, let's say that your goal is to earn. Let's say if your goal is, instead of $1 million, let's say if your goal is to do 1/10 of that. Okay, so a million. I'll just make it easier for you guys. Okay, 1 million divided by 10. Okay, if you just do 1/10 of that, your income is going to be $100,000 per month. Okay. Now, I want you guys listening to my voice tonight. I want you to start believing in yourself. I want you to start believing that you guys can do whatever you set your mind to. Okay. Let's say if you, 1 million, based on that, 1, 2, 3, divided by, let's say if you do 1/50th of that, okay, divided by 50, okay, that's $20,000 a month. Okay. Now, so if you want to earn $100,000 a month, okay, which is 1/10, okay, 1/10 of my income. If you want to reference it, okay, somebody's going to say, Vic, I want to earn $2 million. That's fine. Okay, you can calculate up. Okay, let's say if you have never earned $100,000 a month and you want to do that, that would be a good start, my friend. Okay, that would be a good start because you can do this. I want you to understand that you can do this. Okay. So how do you do that? Because for me to reach $1 million a month, okay, I need to have 50 sign-ups based on these numbers that are scientific and proven, actual conversions, and these are actually, very, very bottom line numbers, okay? They're very conservative. So if you take my number that I need to reach my goal, 50, okay, 50 new sign-ups per day, take that divided by, let's say if you want to do $100,000 a month, okay, take that divided by 10 because you're going to do 1/10 of what I want to do, right? That would be 5 new sign-ups per day for you to reach $100,000 a month in income. Okay? Now, the question comes in is this. Okay? Now, 5 looks a lot more promising than 50, right? But I want you to shoot high, my friend. All right, I want you to shoot high. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do this and how, why am I so confident that this can work, right? Here is the deal. The question is this: how can I get 50 new $25 sales per day? This question should be in your head day in, day out, okay? Every morning when you wake up, every night when you go to bed, you should be asking yourself, how can I? How do I? How do I? How do I? Okay? Don't ever ask yourself, why can't I? Because if you're saying to yourself, why can't I? You are shooting yourself, you're cutting your financial throat. Okay? Don't do that. Always ask yourself, how can I? Okay? How can I? So, I ask myself, how can I get 50 new sign-ups, $25 sign-ups per day? First of all, $25 sign-up is a 20. I mean, it's actually pretty easy to get somebody to pay $25 for something, right? I mean, people pay 20. You just have to, you just have to believe and just expect that people will be paying and paying you $25. Lots of people will be paying you $25. Okay, just expect it, because $25, folks, is not 2,500 or 25,000. It's $25, and that's all you need to focus on. Make sense? Okay? So expect that people will pay you $25. So for me, I need to get 25 or 50 sales per day, right? Now, if we just take very conservative conversions, okay? Let's say, when we initially launched Big Idea Mastermind, our conversions overall as a team, we were converting at over 20%, okay? I will say conservatively, okay, with what the world is about to see come out from Big Idea Mastermind here with the new funnels, with the totally fully controlled funnels by you guys, and especially we're going to cut down all the competition and stuff like that, right? Let's say that we say there's going to be 10%, okay? 10% conversion for the $25 sale, okay? That means that we need to get 500 leads, okay? 500 leads per day, because if we say, we need 50 sales divided by 0.10%, okay? We need 500 leads per day, okay? 500 leads per day. Now, 500 leads per day, that might sound like a lot, right? But it's not. 500 leads per day. So next question is, how do I get 500 leads per day, right? Now, here is where things get really, really exciting, my friend, okay? Let's be very conservative, and let's say that the landing pages that you're going to use, and I'm going to use, right? And I'm going to be completely transparent with you as to what I'm using, right? That the landing page is going to convert at 25%, which is actually pretty low. 25% is actually pretty low, okay, on good traffic. Okay, but again, I want to be very conservative. I'm going to say, to get me a 500 leads per day, and if my landing page converts at 25%, okay, very, very conservative, I need 2,000 visitors per day. That's it, guys. 2,000 good quality per day. Boom. Guys, your question is this: every single day when you wake up. And now, when you look at this 2,000 visitors per day, guys, I'm not talking about junk visitors. I'm not talking about some crappy, whatever, pay to visit kind of visitors, right? I'm talking about good, high quality visitors, okay? I'm going to tell you where I'm going to get them myself, okay? Folks, question is, right, how do I get 2,000 visitors per day? 2,000 good, actually best quality visitors per day, okay? There is your $1 million a month question. Make sense? How do I get 2,000 best quality visitors per day? So every single day, as you go about your business, as you're doing things, whatever things come up, right? The only thing you should be asking yourself is, how do I get 2,000 best quality visitors per day today? Boom. And I don't go to bed until I get 2,000 visitors per day. My friend, your number, if you're shooting for 100,000, again, I just broke this down very, very formula-like and scientifically. 2,000 visitors divided by, if you want to do 100,000, if you want to do 1/10 of what I'm shooting for, right, divided by 10, right, my friend, do you think you can get 200 good quality visitors per day? Okay, again, I didn't make these numbers up. I actually broke this down very based on the actual numbers, okay, actual conversion. Okay, and again, I'm being very conservative. Now, if you want to earn $100,000, guys, this fires me up because I know we're going to have the richest people in the industry, and it's going to be you guys. Okay, it's going to be you guys. It's going to be Big Idea Mastermind. That thing just fires me up like crazy. Okay, especially with what we have coming up. That's going to raise us, all of us Big Idea Mastermind members. It's going to raise you as a marketer, you as a member of Big Idea Mastermind. It's going to take us 10 levels higher, folks. Because what we're about to do, folks, is we're about to turn Big Idea Mastermind not just like another income opportunity, not just like another program or another company that's like, thousands of other ones out there, right? Folks, people will be looking at us as a wealth-building empire. Man, I'm fired up about this. This is going to be a wealth-building empire because we're bringing the best wealth education products and wealth education trainings by the world top wealth creation experts in the entire on the planet. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna talk about here for the next little bit. And the guy I'm bringing on here, guys, we're doing something that will make this stuff right here that we're talking about look like a walk in the park. Okay, folks, your question is if you want to get yourself to $100,000 per month, how can I get 200 best quality visitors per day? Make sense? Now, what really excites me, folks, is that I know exactly how to do that. Okay, I know exactly how to get 2,000 visitors per day, like clockwork. Okay, very good quality visitors. Now, here's something else I'm going to tell you. Okay, to get me 2,000 very best visitors per day, okay, it will cost me about 90 cents per visitor. Okay, on average, about 90 cents. Some sources would be like $1.10 per visitor. Some sources would be like 75, 60 cents. Okay, but on average, I'm going to say it's going to cost me 90 cents per. All right, 90 cents per visitor. All right, so check it out. 2,000 times 90 cents. Okay, I will spend about $1,800 per day. Okay, per day on my business. All right, so let me ask you this. If you knew exactly what to do today, tomorrow, if you knew exactly what sources to go to, okay, would you invest $1,800 per day, okay, to earn 48,150? Actually, let's be very conservative. Let's just talk about my portion of it, okay, 35,000, okay? 1,800 divided by 35,000, okay, equals folks, this business model that I just presented to you, okay, I'm gonna reinvest 5%. 95% profit. Okay? Now, this is going to be a little bit different for me because I'm reinvesting a lot of my, as you saw there, I only got 1,700 and something, 1,733 members that I personally sponsored. Okay? So, and I take my income, I take my personal commissions, I take a lot of money from that. In fact, I take over half of my personal commissions, and I reinvested back into building Big Idea Mastermind. I'm reinvesting back into building an infrastructure that will allow you guys, members of Big Idea Mastermind, to just explode things for yourself. Okay, and I'm doing this. Listen, I don't think any of you guys actually paid money or paying money monthly to be a member of Big Idea Mastermind. I don't think we have anybody who's actually paying monthly. We have a lot of people who want to pay monthly to be a member from other teams. We don't allow it. Okay, folks. My vision is for us to be a community, folks. I am looking for people who will support us in that. All right, and I'm looking for future millionaires, folks. Empower Network came up with a new club called Millionaires Club, right? They're giving out income rings. They're giving out, and I actually just left mine at home because I just got back from Chicago and I didn't need that there. But I got myself, I was, the first person to receive the Empower Network Millionaires Club ring, all right, as a symbol that you are, you're a millionaire, you're an official millionaire, right? Folks, you are listening to my voice tonight. Guys, My vision is I want to have as many of you guys up there on stage in Empower Network getting your own $1 million ring. Okay? So how do you do that? Okay? Based on the numbers. Okay? And somebody just said, let's see here. Okay, somebody says, Vic, my DIM doesn't convert like that. Okay? Listen, I'm showing you my numbers. Okay? Now, the question comes down to this. Is this right here. Okay? How do I get the X amount of leads, vast quality? My friends, this is the keyword right here for you. Okay? If you're just getting leads, if you're getting leads off of stuff like, whatever, different sources, and some sources are better than others, but there's a lot of sources that will get you crappy leads. Okay? If you're getting leads off of that, and you look into your numbers and your numbers are different than what I'm showing you here for conversion, folks, I'm telling you very, very conservative numbers here. Okay? Now, what it's going to come down to is getting good quality leads. Okay? Now you want to listen up, because I'm going to show you where I'm going to be getting them, and again, how you guys can model that stuff. Okay? So, but if you want to be, let's say it's your goal, and a lot of you guys said your goal was to get your income rate with Empower Network. Okay? If you shoot for $100,000 a month, you will be well on your way. Okay? $100,000 a month, folks, it's $525 sales per day. Friends, expect $525 sales a day. Okay? Don't go to bed until you have, let's see, 5 divided by, let's see, 10%. Okay? 50 leads. Okay? Make yourself a goal. Set yourself a crystal clear target. Don't go to bed until you get 50 leads in your autoresponder per day, today, period, boom, nothing else. Okay, nothing less. Okay, you can do more. Okay, 50 leads per day divided by, let's say if your conversions are going to be 25. Okay, 25% for the effective rate, 200 visitors per day. Okay, guys. Now, what we'll be talking about again. I want to paint a picture here for you guys, and I want to kind of stretch your vision, because a lot of times we're thinking about these numbers, and we think, well, this is way too big, this is way out there, it's not possible, it's not for me, it's for somebody else. When you actually break it down like that, right, it makes it possible. Then the only thing you have to focus on is how do I get good quality leads. And, my friend, the reason I'm so fired up is because I will be completely transparent with you how and where I get my leads. Okay, that's why we're going to have webinars, that's why we're going to have the 30 days to 10K program. All right, guys, I will be sharing with you, and actually we have something coming up here on the 22nd of August. You want to make a note for yourself right now. Guys, I will be sharing with you exactly where I get my stuff from. And there is plenty. Okay? You guys fired up? Okay? You guys fired up? Okay? So, know your numbers. Okay? The key, the secret to success, my friend, is knowing your numbers. Cool? Alright, so what I want to do right now, folks, is I want to switch gears here, because we're going to move quicker, a little bit quicker here. Hold on one sec. I'm going to switch gears. Let me see, make sure I didn't forget anything here. Okay. I'm going to be real quick. Okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to start talking to you about, why this thing is going to come together, and really what we're going to do that will put you, okay, as a member of Big Idea Mastermind, man, 10 levels higher above everybody else in Empower Network. And Empower Network is about to explode, folks. They are going into different countries. They're going into Russia in their native language. They're going into Europe in their native languages and in their currencies, and they'll be processing payments in euros and paying out people in euros if they live in Europe, right? Folks, they're going to, to countries like China, right? They're going to Spanish-speaking countries. And folks, it's going to be, Empower Network is opening the doors in those countries in their native languages. Do you have any idea what this is going to do for your business? Do you have any idea what would happen to your income if you just get laser focused right now? If you say, Vic, this is it, man, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be up on stage, getting my income ring, all right? 12 months from today, I'm going to be represented, and I'm going to be presented with an income ring. I'm going to do what I need to do every single day. I'm going to ask myself every single day, I'm going to ask myself, how can I get 500 or 1,000 best quality visitors? I'm going to be on every single webinar that, Vic, you're going to put on. I'm going to do every single thing you're going to tell me to do, because you're going to be absolutely transparent with me. And folks, I want to have stage full of you out there getting your big check. We had Paula Barroso, we had Mark Soto, we had a lot of people from Big Idea Mastermind getting their checks. And you know what? When I shook those guys' hands, you know, and they look me in the eye and they say, Vic, man, this is absolutely awesome. You know, it fires me up. Folks, I want to have your team. I want you to lead by example. I want you to make a commitment. I want you to say, this is it, nothing else. I'm not going to look around to the side. I'm not going to look around to the left, to the right. I'm going to look straight, and I'm going to go where I need to go, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get it done no matter what. I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I'm not going to listen to any of the negative people. I'm not going to listen to any of the naysayers. I will reach my goal, or I'm going to die trying. Okay? How many of you guys are committed to that? All right? Answer that question to yourself. Okay? But here's one thing I'm going to promise you, folks. I'm going to lead by example, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do, because I want you guys to be up there. Okay? So one of the things that's going to take us to the next level, and that's going to be this. Okay? We already have, you know, here's the thing. Okay? For something to explode, okay? For us to explode, we need to have. Actually, I thought we needed 2 components, but then when I figured out this third one, man, it blew my mind, and I said, we need to have this in the Idea Mastermind, because people need to have access to that stuff. Okay, so here's the thing: 3 things are gonna take us to the top. Okay, straight to the top. Thing number 1 is personal development, folks. It's foundational. I preach it over and over and over again. Personal development. We have that. We're going to be adding more stuff. 30 days 10K program is going to absolutely blow your mind when it comes to the actual. You know, Paulo Barroso was on stage in Denver, and he said, you know, he attributed his big breakthrough. The guy earned over $200,000 in like 6 months, and he said he went through a 30-day program that I had with one of the other products, and he actually went through the program, 30-day program, and he started to have success. Okay, current 30 days to 10K program is going to be twice as good, okay, as what Paulo Barroso has gone through. Okay, folks, that's why I'm not going to buy any excuse from any one of you. Okay, I'm not going to take any excuse. I'm not going to take any of the Vic. I don't have, you know, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. Okay, if you want to reach your goal, there's going to be absolutely no reason, no excuse that will prevent you from reaching your goal. None. Period. End of the story. Make sense? All right. And so those of you guys who will actually do what I'm going to teach you to do, you will have no reason for not reaching your goal, whatever it is. Okay. I would tell you, I'd actually recommend shoot for $100,000 a month. All you need is 5 sign-ups per day, 5 $25 sign-ups per day. That's fine. That's it. Run those numbers based on your, based on your calculations, your predictions. You know, maybe you want to double that. You know, just to kind of stretch yourself a little bit. All right. Again, shoot for that far star so you can land on the moon. Okay. So thing number 1 is personal development. Thing number 2 is the best marketing education that there is. Okay, folks. And I know quite a few things about marketing. I don't know everything, but I know enough to currently make about $300,000 per month or so on average. Okay. Now, granted, I take a lot of that money and I pour that back into the Big Idea Mastermind to grow this for all of us. In fact, I've invested over $1.2 million already in the last 7 months building this giant for all of us. Okay, and I do this because I see a vision. Okay, for the future. The future is bright, folks. Okay, and I'm telling you. If you are wishy-washy, okay, if you're here just because you just want to, dip your feet into everything and just kind of see how it works, you will probably not succeed here, okay? If you're like me, I'm looking for people who would be as hungry as I am. I'm looking for people who would be as excited about the business as I am, okay? Hopefully that's you, okay? So thing number 2 is, again, the best training when it comes to marketing there is, okay, folks? I am going to be, like I said, I'm going to be hanging out with billionaires here in a couple weeks. Okay, folks, I'm going to be taking those ideas, I'm going to be bringing to the Big Idea Mastermind. I'm going to be completely transparent with you, and I will teach you what I'm doing. I'm actually going to show you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay, so those of you guys who want to follow along and you guys want to do what I do, you will be able to do that. There's going to be no hiding, no doing something behind the scenes or whatever. Heck, a lot of you guys are on my list, so you will see exactly what I do. And what I want you to do is I want you to start modeling what I will be doing to reach my goal, because when you do that, reaching your goal is going to be very, very simple. Now that you have a breakdown for yourself, and I got people typing here like crazy. Hold on. But thing number 3, we're going to take. Okay, people saying that they can't get in. Okay. Thing number 3, I guess the webinar is kicking some people out. Thing number 3, folks, that's going to really, really take things to the next level, and no other team, heck, no other company, to my knowledge, in our industry is doing this. And that's bringing wealth creation education to the platform. Guys, I'm going to repeat it back again. Wealth creation education. It's one thing to make money. It's a totally different animal to know how to keep the money, because it's not about how much you make, it's how much you keep, right? It's important. And thing number 3, or the third thing in that category is, not only making money, not only knowing how to protect your money, okay, but knowing how to grow your money, okay? There's 2 ways to make money, right? There is you working for your money, right? There is you doing your business, you doing your thing. Second way is to have your money that you're earning to work for you to grow even more, to multiply for you, right? To grow that nest egg all by itself. That's how the ultra wealthy are doing things, right? And then third thing in that category is learning and knowing how to, how to protect yourself, how to protect your wealth. Does that make sense? So, funny thing happened. I was in Miami, okay, with the Empower Network, their leadership council, their mastermind, whatever they call it. There was like 12 of us, okay, 12 of the top earners in the Empower Network, and we were out there hanging out on the boat, masterminding, talking with Dave, and they brought in this guy, okay, Nick, and they were telling us, because they obviously their goal is to help their leadership grow and things like that. And so I met this guy named Nick, and I listened to them. I listened to him as he's talking, and he's talking about things that I'm just standing there watching him do stuff on the whiteboard, and I didn't notice when I don't know, his presentation was like, I don't know, 60 or 90 minutes or 2 hours, I don't know, but it seemed like everything kind of vanished, and I was just there paying extra close attention and hanging on to every word he was saying, because last year I paid $325,000 in taxes, which was not fun at all, trust me, okay? And I knew if I continued to do what I'm doing, I would probably pay triple this year. And I did not want to do that, okay? And so as I'm listening, and see, I'm a guy who believes that every single thing happens for the right reason. I want to suggest that you adopt the same belief yourself. Doesn't matter whether it's good or bad or anything between, folks. I believe that every single thing that happens to me happens for the right reason, okay? I believe in going to events. I believe in going to masterminds. I believe in going to events and paying $10,000 for it. I believe in going to events and paying $30,000 for it, for a day, to just hang out with a few people, because you never know what's going to happen there, because one idea that I take from that event can make me a fortune. One idea is all, okay? So we're at this mastermind with Empower, and I'm listening to this guy, and he's talking about, how to structure your business, and he's talking about the right way to structure your business to cut down on the taxes legally, and he's talking about, he's like, yeah, I've been working with guys like Donald Trump and Tony Robbins and Robert Allen and all those guys, who are billionaires, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I've been in business for 8 years. I thought that I knew some things, and I go talk to my accountant and stuff, right? And he tells me some things, and he's like, Rick, this is it, But what Nick was talking about, it absolutely blew my mind, folks. It absolutely blew my mind. He was talking about things that just like this level right here, and I knew like maybe 2% of what he was actually talking about on the go. Okay, so what I do is right after his talk there, I come up to him and I say, hey man, we gotta talk, man, because I mean I think I should hang out with you, okay, for a few days or something. And so anyway, so I fly out to Las Vegas, right? And he looked at my, how I had my business structured, and I was an LLC. I thought I was, everything was cool. I was an LLC, right? He looked at my structure. He's like, dude, I had the same client like you, made about the same amount of money like you did last year, and he paid like $30,000 or $32,000, and I paid $325,000. That hurt. Like, ouch, man, ouch. And then he started talking to me about, hey, he's like, hey, do you know that there is a way that, ultra wealthy, they use other people's money to build their wealth and to explode their wealth and to grow their nest egg. And he started talking to me about these lines of credit that people use to really help them take their stuff to the next level. He's like, hey man, there's money available to average ordinary people, right? Like you, like me, like somebody who's just starting a business, doing a startup, and people can get $70,000, $100,000, $500,000 worth of business line of credit, and it's not going through the regular banking system, because if you go to a regular bank, they're not going to loan you anything, right? They're not going to give you any credit, but people are using that. They're paying almost 0% for the first year, and they're investing that somebody else's money. They're buying things like, a whole bunch of stuff, investments at literally like pennies on the dollar, having a positive cash flow going, using somebody else's money. They're paying this credit off, or this line of credit off, using somebody else's money and using this other sources of income, and they're not out anything from their own pocket. And I'm listening to him. I'm like, dude, we need to get this education to Big Idea Mastermind, because my vision is to have the richest group of people in this industry, and this is what's going to really set us apart from everything and everybody else out there in the industry. And this is where we can go out there and we're not going to be there just like another business opportunity or another team on a business opportunity, right? Or a network marketing company, right? We're going to be the wealth building empire. So here's what happened. I talked to Nick. I said, Vic, Nick, he ran through my stuff personally, and he's like, well, no man, we need to change this. You're not protected here. You're not protected here. We need to get you protected to make sure that everything is cool. And so we completely remodel, we can completely restructure my business entirely from the ground up. Okay. So we do that, and he's like, hey man, we can, you want to get a line of credit for your business. And granted, I just created a brand new corporation in the state of Nevada, right? Brand new corporation, has no business credit, nothing. Okay, just my personal stuff. And he's like, you want to get it? I'm like, well, I don't really need it, but let's shoot for it. I'm like, how much do you think you can get me? He's like, a lot. I go, well, how much is a lot? He's like, a lot. So I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Literally, like 2 hours later, he brings somebody to his office, and they run through my stuff. Again, brand new corporation that was just formed. And then like a week later, I get a phone call from him. He's like, dude, you got pre-approved for like $1 million in business line of credit, like 0% for the first year, and then like 3 or 7 or 6% or something like that after that. That just made me go like, man, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is crazy, And so what I thought we would do is I thought about Big Idea Mastermind, and immediately I thought, hey, if we bring this kind of stuff to our platform, to our Big Idea Mastermind, right? If we bring this education and actually educate people on how to do things correctly, how to use other people's money to run their business, to help them jumpstart their business if that's what they want to do, right? How to protect themselves, okay? Because if you're going to grow your business, you will need to, you need some protection, right? And so I talked to Nick, and I said, Nick, we gotta get you to Big Idea Mastermind. The only thing is, this guy, he's crazy busy. But I was able to get him in Denver. He flew over to Denver to talk to our group. And folks, we're going to be doing something that will completely, I think it's going to set a new standard in our industry for what teams are doing, what companies are doing. And I'm very, very excited that he agreed to do something for Big Idea Mastermind for you guys. And so what I asked him to do is, I asked him to get on this webinar tonight and talk about some things that he is doing. And then we're going to be doing something, folks, for you, for Big Idea Mastermind, on the 22nd of August. Okay, we're actually going to have a workshop, a live workshop It's going to happen in Las Vegas here, where you guys can be able to get there. And what we're doing is we're creating a brand new educational channel, right, in Big Idea Mastermind, to where it will be available to other people as well. And we're adding another layer on top of what we already have. Remember, personal development, best internet marketing training, and then best wealth creation education on the planet. Folks, if somebody works with guys like Donald Trump and Tony Robbins, you better pay attention. Okay. So with that being said, I want you guys to give a warm Big Idea Mastermind welcome to Nick Maris. Nick, if you want to grab the microphone, then I'll just check to make sure that everything is cool there. Let me know. I can't hear you yet. But it might take a second here. Maybe it's probably lagging a little bit because of the number of people in the room. But I'm excited. I'm excited about that because I think this is going to be not only. Nick, you're muted, man. You need to. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, you should be able to talk now. Not only will this help you as a marketer, it will help you sell Big Idea Mastermind that much easier. It will help you reach your goals that much quicker, right? And it will help you guys really take your things to the next level. So what I want to do from my side, because he did my stuff completely, he does the Empower stuff. I wanted to share the resource. I wanted to. Okay, he's loading. Okay, that's cool. I wanted to bring share this with you guys, okay? Because I know if we're going to create the richest group in the industry, we need to be working with the best of the best, okay? So, Nick, can you hear me? Okay. I can actually see. Oh, hey. Oh, you're not in the webinar? Okay. Oh, it kicked you out, huh? Okay. Let's see. Go ahead and try to. What if you're trying to get in? What is it telling you? Okay. Oh, really? Oh. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, hey guys, hold on one sec here. He just got, the webinar just kicked him out because, I mean, this thing is packed, and he is having a hard time getting in. Some of you guys want to volunteer to get off? Oh man, this is crazy. Why don't you keep trying, Nick? See if you can get in. Yeah, try it a few times. Yeah, see that's the thing with this platform is it kicks you. Okay, so we just got, okay, looks like you're in. Yeah, looks like you're in. I can see you. I can hear you through the phone. I cannot hear you through the computer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, here we go.
Okay, guys, he is in.
Technology, you gotta love to hate it.
Were you on when I was? Did you hear
I
what
did.
I was
I just
talking
pointed
about?
out right before you introduced me.
Oh, okay. So man, yeah, well, I know we've been here for an hour and a half already, but I think this is the kind of stuff, man. That I mean, honestly, guys, when I heard some of this stuff, I didn't sleep for like 3 days. I kid you not. Okay, my mind was racing like crazy, and I told Nick, remember when we talked, I said we need to bring this to Big Idea Mastermind because this is the kind of stuff that's going to set us apart big time. Nobody else is doing it, and then we can actually realistically we can go mainstream with this, and we can actually do like infomercials and stuff like that with this kind of stuff. Because it's not just about making money. It's about making money. It's about, like I said, it's about personal development, marketing, and it's about wealth creation at its best. So Nick, with that being said, bro, the microphone is yours.
Okay, I hope everybody can hear me good. I just wanted to say Vic was right on when he said it's not about the amount of money that you make, it's about what you get to keep. We're going to show some amazing things here, you guys. In fact, I can guarantee...
Hey, Nick.
Go ahead.
Nick, you got a webcam?
Oh, yeah, you want me to put it on cam?
Useful.
Okay.
If you can, that's awesome. Our people, my people,
I have a face for radio.
Whoever's I want to turn.
Okay.
Yeah, turn
Okay,
yours on.
I hope you guys
turn
can
mine off.
all see me. I've got this, like, glow behind me, I noticed.
Here, start the webcam.
Okay, good. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to pay attention to the slides and take notes if you want to. And I'm going to tell you right now, anybody gets off this presentation before you get to the end, they're going to miss it. I don't know if you've heard from your folks in Denver, but we had an awesome response to what we were doing. So I want to go ahead and go through the slide presentation. One of the things that I love to do is talk about what's going on, what's coming down the pipeline, how are things going to affect your market that's going on in the world, in your backyard, what have you. So what I want to do is I want to go through a lot of the information that's going to allow you to help build your business. I know as a small business person, that's all I deal with day in and day out, is that one of the key components is being able to have capital to be able to work, to be able to have the money necessary to market, to draw people into your funnel, to be able to captivate them, to sell them, to make a rate of return on your investment, to create income, so on and so forth. So I'm going to talk about vehicles and things in order to do that. I'm going to show you guys things that I call it a $250,000 education, but really it's much more than that. The things that you're going to learn today, we never learn in school. We don't learn how money works anywhere in school. I don't care how far you go, and we don't learn about structures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the presentation. I'm going to go through it throughout, and then in the end, I'm going to do a summary, and then I guess we can open up the chat room or what have you with Vic and I. You guys could put some questions on there we can answer, but there's going to be a call to action, and so we'll go from there. So what I want to do is this. Let's see if I can get this thing. Vic, I might need you to pipe in real quick and tell me how to. Okay, here we go. All right, so yeah, we've been on some.
Hey, Nick,
I think I got it going. We've been on some.
Nick, I still can't see you.
Go ahead.
Still can't see you, so you might want to start your cam. There should be like a button that, on your webcam on your window.
Okay. All right, here you go.
Camera.
Okay, there I am.
Hit that.
All righty. Face for radio. Okay, so we've been on some radio and TV stuff, but I don't want to even focus on that. What I want to do is let's start. How do I get this thing up, Vic? I want to go back. How do I get it to just start going through, Vic? All right. Good. All right, so let's go on. All right. So what I do is every time I do a presentation, I start out with this quote Vic knows perfectly well. I talk about buying the steak, not the sizzle. Here's a great quote by C.S. Lewis. It said, "We all have two lives, the life we learn with and the life we live with after that." Isn't that so true? The key component here is not to pay so much with the first life that we have to live with it for the rest of our lives. There's things that people need to understand what's going on there. You decide to make investments every day in your life. If you look at things that are going on around you, look at things like the stock market. Anybody that honestly believes that the Dow is at 15 or 16,000, that it ought to be there, is out of their mind. Anybody that believes that properties back in the days, guys, doubled in 6 months, and some of you guys know very well what I'm talking about, that got impacted by that, they know that you've got to be able to buy the steak and not the sizzle. Being able to talk about and deal with things that are really going on is what's really going to benefit you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want to give you guys a little background on us. We are not bean counters. We are not CPAs. There's a big difference between us and bean counters. We do not count beans. We do not add zeros and ones and twos and add and subtract. What we do is we give you more beans to count. And what's amazing out there, when I go through and I talk to tax professionals, CPAs and representatives out there, I ask them about basic things that they ought to be doing for their clients that they're not doing. And what you need to realize is that CPAs are not paid to find deductions. That's not what they do. When you pay them $400, $600, $800, $1,000 to do your taxes, they do not go out there and find deductions based on your industry. And they're dealing with so many industries. That's the thing. They're taking all these industries together and they're filing their taxes, okay? They don't go out there and find the things that you have in your industry that allow you to reduce your tax liability, put more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. That's what we do. In just the last 14 years that we've been doing this, we found about $20 million in mistakes in taxes and deductions that people could have reduced their tax liability that they didn't, or that we went out and got for them. So that's huge out there. Now, title transactions, we do a lot of stuff with real estate. Real estate is the big boy playground for deductions. We processed about 400 million loans in 2010, 2011 as far as allowing people to follow through and do those transactions. I'm not going to get a lot into that today, but I want to talk about structures. Most people don't understand. You go do a structure out there, and people fail to understand that although people are talking about things like the gospel, what to do as far as an entity, how they work, what people need to work out of, so on and so forth, they've never been litigated. Their operating agreements, their bylaws and things like that have never been litigated. They've never been in a courtroom. They've never seen what a judge will say or what a jury will do. And that's where the rubber meets the road. It doesn't matter if you have all these structures that you set up. If something were to happen and you had to go ahead and have them litigated and defend what it is that you're doing, would they cut the mustard? Now, the reason that we're talking about this, guys, so that you understand, is if you want capital to be able to do businesses, you need to be able to be structured. Banks want to see that you are protected to protect their investment in you. The basis for any business getting started, you need to structure first. People in this business, I can't tell you how many Empower people that I've spoken to, that they go in there and they're not making money today, and in a couple of weeks they're making thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, and now they want to structure after they have this huge tax liability. Now, a lot of you guys out there are working as sole proprietors, and I want to explain that as sole proprietors, you have the highest tax bracket in the country, you have the least amount of deductions, you hold all the liability personally, and you file a Schedule C, which is the most likely to get audited. Other than that, being a sole proprietor is great. You should never, ever be a sole proprietor. If you're going to work and knit some sweaters in your downstairs basement and you're going to sell 10 or 20 of them, okay, great. If you're going to go out there and seriously make money or work as a business, you do not go out there and work as a sole proprietor. That's the most important thing that you need to understand. All of our clients, out of all their clients that we have, 14, 15,000 clients that we've done, we only have had 3 audits with our clientele, and not a single audit was successful. In fact, our clients never even owed, and 2 out of the 3 that we had end up getting money back from Uncle Sam instead of paying, which is huge. We don't do this. We don't teach CPAs or tax attorneys anymore. We used to do that all the time, okay? We don't train them. I talk to people all the time. I even have people in my family that have gone and gotten doctorates in tax, and I say, listen, how many classes did you learn about structures in your whole career? And they'll say 1 or 2. Structures are not taught in school. They're taught by the wealthy. I'm very blessed that I've been able to sit at the footsteps of some very wealthy individuals and be able to learn from a lot of their professionals how to go ahead and make money and keep money. I can tell you this, the wealthy do not do the same things that the average person does. J.D. Rockefeller said, if you want to be a millionaire, you hang around millionaires because only millionaires know what millionaires do. How true is that? There is a different protocol for how this wealth is passed on. And I said to myself, what's interesting is because you cannot learn about this in school, most of this education is passed on from generation to generation. I said, this is an unfair playing field. I said, what if you could go out there and take this knowledge that you have that has benefited the wealthy for the last 40, 50 years and take it to the average Joe, I call the 100,000-aire, allow them to put more money away in their pocket, less than Uncle Sam's, and be able to create the wealth to be a millionaire. How great would that be? And so 14 years ago, we created this entity to do just that, and we've been doing it ever since. The greatest thing I can talk to you about this screen right here, never ever hire a CPA directly. Why do you never want to hire a CPA directly? Because CPAs have no privilege. If you hire a CPA, with audits being as high as they are, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit here, if the IRS wants to find out information about you, as a clerk of courts, the CPA, all they have to do is be subpoenaed for your corporate documents, and then it becomes a witch hunt to look over your documents and see what, if all, anything that you're doing wrong and be able to use that against you. If you go and hire an attorney and the attorney hires that CPA, then you have privilege. Now the IRS has to ask and designate exactly what it is that they're looking for, and anything that they find outside of that you're not doing properly, they can never use against you. That's huge. Now, I want to go over about quotes. Now, obviously, you're not in the audience, so I can't ask you questions, but I'm going to go ahead and go through this. Who was it that said the power of the government lies in the ignorance of the people? These are some great, important quotes, okay? The power of the government lies in the ignorance of the people, and that was none other than Thomas Jefferson. Now, why I want to go over that is because if you significantly look at this quote, if the power of the government lies in the ignorance of the people, the power of the people lay in its ability to be educated. That's important. That's what I'm going to talk about tonight. Things that you don't learn, but you need to know to be successful. Now, here's another quote. Who said the total power of the government has always been its ability to tax? Now think about that. I want you to think about that quote. If the total power of the government has always been its ability to tax, the power of the people lay in its ability to create non-taxable events. And that is the key of the wealthy, to create non-taxable events. Why does Warren Buffett not care what the tax rate goes up to? Why does he say it's okay for people to pay a little bit more tax? Because if you take a lot of his investments in his structure and you look at them, he's created these non-taxable events. It's off the table. It's never going to be affected. It doesn't matter if the tax rate goes to 100%, he's not going to owe. But this horrible person that wrote this, guys, this was Adolf Hitler. Now, that's significant because if he understood that the total power of the government has been its ability to tax, he understood, look what he did with his power. So this is the knowledge that you get through education and being proactive to do things to be able to stop tax liability is key. Now, what's happening and why? This blows people's mind. People can't understand what billion is, like what a billion of unit of anything. They can't even get their hand around that. So what I did is I broke down billions into time, okay? Now let's look at that. Now, how interesting that only a billion seconds ago was 1959. A billion minutes ago, this guy named Jesus was alive. A billion hours ago, our ancestors were living in the Stone Age. A billion days ago, no one walked the earth on 2 feet. And $1 billion ago, it was 8 hours and 20 minutes. That means your average day that you would go to work or work an average work day and commute someplace, your government spend $1 billion. Now the question is, who is going to pay for all this? So we need to look about the phenomena that are going to affect the market. Now this is amazing in itself, okay? These are things that are going to affect your business, how you market, what you do, where you're going to draw your participants and your influence from so that you can create wealth. Now I want you guys to look at this. First of all, baby boomers. Baby boomers. Anybody born between 1946 and 64 is a baby boomer. They are retiring at 10,000 a day. Now I want you guys to think about this. Baby boomers, look at how they drastically affected whole industries growing up. Look at how they made multi-billion-dollar conglomerates. For example, when they were born, look what happened to Gerber. When they could ride bikes, look what happened to Schwinn. When they could ride automobiles, look what happened to GM and Ford. When they could buy houses, look what happened to the housing market. Now these people are getting ready to retire, 10,000 and a day, guys. What do you think is going to happen to the stock market where most of these people are vested in 401ks, IRAs, and qualified plans? What's going to happen to the market when they go out there and they go to take their money to retire? If anybody thinks that the Dow ought to be at 15,000, first of all, you're nuts. If it weren't for $85 billion being pumped in by the Federal Reserve every month, the market wouldn't be where it's at. So if you have your money in stocks and bonds and mutual funds, if you're in a 401k and an IRA, you could invest in there. But remember this, in 2001, September 11, the Dow was at 12,000 plus. Now, some people decided to go ahead and ram their planes into a couple buildings, and the Dow went down to about 9,000 within a matter of days. When that happened, people lost 50 to 60% of their retirement accounts. Now, I want you guys to think about something. When the planes hit, were people, the next day, were people able to go grocery shopping? Were they able to drive their car, get gasoline, be able to go to the store? The only two things you couldn't do was trade or buy stocks, and you could not get on an airplane. Other than that, nothing significantly happened, yet the perception of the two towers crumbling caused the market to drop from 12 to 9,000, and people lost 50 to 60% of their retirement account. Now, with what's going on in the world, I want you to think about this. We know that we're writing checks that this country's butt cannot cash. We are borrowing money that we do not have the means to pay back. When the Dow dropped, our debt was at $10 trillion. Now we're at $16 trillion. Why is it that the market makers out there think that the Dow will be at 7,500, 8,500, and we're not listening to them? If the Dow goes from 16,000 to 8,000, people will lose 70, 80% of their investment dollars out there. Now, if you could take that money in your retirement account and you could use it to grow your business in which you have full control over with Empower and your business opportunities, do your leads or lead research and things like that, how significant would that be to invest in yourself into something that, instead of something that has a very good potential of dropping and losing money? So that's something I want you guys to think about. The other is wealth transference. You know there's going to be more money trading hands from dying seniors to baby boomers in the next 5 to 10 years than is transferred hands from George Washington to George W. Bush combined. I mean, that's huge. What is going to happen when the people out there that are passing on haven't done things to allow their money to go to their estate, their loved one, and their heirs? Where do you think that money is going to go to? It's going to go into social and welfare programs. If you have parents, don't you think that you ought to make it so that the wealth that they work so hard for goes to you? If you're parents, don't you think that you ought to do the things that you need to do to pass your wealth on to your loved ones? I talk about this in estate planning and doing things for your loved ones because I ask people all the time, do you know when you're going to die? Because if you know when you're going to die, all you need to do is one or two things in order to make this thing work. Call me a day before you're going to die, and you can set up your trust. Or if you don't know when you're going to die, how about you set it up now so that you know that you're protected? If you do know when you're going to die, something else that we can do is we can go out there and create a fortune-telling business and give Dionne Warwick a run for her money and make a ton of cash out there, guys. So this is very important. This is critical. The key to any wealth building is dealing with your estate and your estate planning. So I want you guys to think about that. And I'm going to show you how all this ties in. Inflation, guys. We cannot be printing money that we are and having a couple wars that still haven't been paid for. Obamacare and the Health Care Act that we have passed for $1 trillion that we don't have. We can't be bailing out GM, airplane companies, the whole 9 yards, and and think honestly inflation isn't going to go off the charts. You're looking at the lowest interest rates that you'll probably ever see in this country for a long, long time. If you think that home loans ought to be at 4% or car loans at 0.9%, you're crazy. There was a guy, if you remember, his name was the president that during the 70s, Jimmy Carter, makes our president look like a conservative. And the reason being I'm talking about is because this president's administration has spent more money than all the presidents from George Washington to George W. Bush combined. Now, in the 70s, the rate of interest was prime plus 22%. What do you think the interest rate ought to be today? So I want you guys to think about that when you're building your business, as how do you deal with that, and actually how to captivate on that and monetize that and make money with it. I'm going to teach you that here in just a little bit as well. Taxes have to be raised. I think everybody needs, or should agree at least, you can't be going and paying for all these things and not raise taxes. So that's important. So if taxes are going to go up, don't you think it's important to set up your structures now to be able to deal for the fact that taxes are going to go up down the road? Consumer confidence at an all-time low. They're talking about it dropped another 3%. So I want to have you ask yourself the million-dollar question is, if consumer confidence is low and people are not buying goods and services, then how is it that the stock market is going up? If less people are buying Apple phones, why is Apple stock going up? If people are buying less of goods and services, how is it that the stock market is going up? And then I want you to think about that and decide what it is that you're going to do with your wealth and what you really want to invest in that you can control. Now, everything that we do out there, guys, if it comes out, are built to help the small or large business owner, the self-employed or white-collar professional, and the entrepreneur or real estate professional. Everything that we do out there is designed for a couple reasons. I'm having a little bit of a delay, just stay with me. Our programs are designed to help create wealth, reduce your tax liability, and reduce your liability and lower your taxes, guys. What else is there, okay? That's the most important thing. Now, we're also going to talk about getting capital for your business. Cheap capital. You know, guys, most of you guys don't believe how much money is available out there. There's something like $289 billion from the American Recovery Reinvestment Act dollars that are available out there for small business owners, and they don't realize how to attach to it. We're going to talk to you about it in a little bit. The IRS, this is important. The IRS has you as a small business owner, you evil one, in their target, as a target. Now, I want you guys to understand this thing with Obamacare, which is very important, how it's going to affect small businesses. If you go out there and you have adjusted gross income of $250,000 or more, most people don't understand. They're going to pay 45% of that in tax. If you're in California, you've got a 10% state income tax and a 45% federal income tax. You're going to pay 55% of every dollar you make to Uncle Sam. So you need to be able to do things to lower your tax liability. Plus, all these deductions are going away next year. There's a lot of deductions for small business going away. What it means fundamentally is, if you are a small business owner, if you went to your CPA, tax professional, and you paid $5,000 in tax, or $10,000 or $20,000 in tax, meaning they gave you every deduction that they knew of, every loophole that they could have you participate in, and you paid still $10,000, $15,000 in tax, next year you're going to lose a bunch of those deductions, and the taxes are going up as far as the brackets, which means you're going to get out your wallet come April 15th. So this is very important. Now, the number one question that I ask people out there, why does the IRS want your money more than you want to keep it? You know, people I talk about invest in things every day. They invest in the Starbucks caramel macchiato or whatever it's called. They invest in their Apple iPads. They go to Cabo San Lucas, the entertainment center, toys and things like that, clothes, but they don't invest in themselves. They don't invest in their families, and they don't invest in their business. And this makes no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense as well why the IRS wants your money more than you're willing to proactively do the things that you need to do in order to keep it. So investing in yourself, That's just very critical. Now, why protect assets? Guys, this is going to blow your mind. Do you know the USA only makes up 4.5% of the world's population? I mean, that's incredible when you think about it. They make 70% of the world's lawyers, though. 94% of the world's lawsuits. 40,000 new lawyers graduate every year. You got the number of civil cases increasing by 40%. They just talked about, just from the beginning of this year here in my state, in Las Vegas, just in my county, lawsuits are up 35%. That equals a 40% chance of being sued. Now, let me talk to you about how wonderful this is. Audits are up 42% this year. You have a 40% chance of being sued. You've got an 82% of something bad happening to you. If you think that the IRS isn't going to come after you, if you think that you're never going to get into a lawsuit, I want you guys to think again. There's a reason why they call them accidents and not on purposes. Okay, they happen when we're not expecting them. My pop always said that you never have a problem until you have a problem, and then you have a problem. Once you have that problem, it becomes too late. You need to prepare for the things that are coming your way and be able to deal with them proactively so that you're not becoming a victim to the fact that somebody is coming after you. Structuring is the first thing you do, guys. It's not the second. It's not the last. You guys that are starting your business, again, we talked about the fact you do not want to be a sole proprietor. You do not want to be a single member disregarded entity. We're going to talk about what that is. Now, what I want to get into is the fact that most people don't understand, and this is the most relevant thing that I hear from Empower all the time, okay? I want you guys to understand, Empower is your business. It is. It's the business that you work out of. You gain wealth from it. You work through their structure, but it's the Dave's business. Your business is what it is that you produce on your own. You're an independent contractor. When money goes into Empower and they pay to you as an independent contractor, you're a sole proprietor. You want to set up no different than they are. You want to receive money in an entity just like they do. Now, some of the people that I run into, and the greatest problem that I see, is people have gone out there and run out to LegalZoom or Biz Filings or one of these places that are online, these, I call them mills, and they go out there and they set up a company, and they think that just because they've filed their articles and done their list of officers and they have a tax ID and they have 3 pieces of paper, somehow that makes them a company, and it doesn't. What makes you a company comes down to, do you have a custom operating agreement or your bylaws made specifically for your business? Not going to a mill and have them take the title of an engineer off or a doctor's office or a janitor or what have you and put the name of your company on and have some templated form that they shoot out to you that you paid for. No, you need to be able to have an agreement, and you need to be able to work out of an entity that's built just for you. 80% of the entities set up or maintain the Secretary of Interior, if they were ever sued or faced the IRS, they would never cut the mustard. Guys, that's huge. You need to have an entity built for you. Tax code is 7.5 million words long. That's a lie. It's about 10 million words now with Obamacare. Most Americans only take 3 to 5 basic deductions beyond what some of the natural deductions that they have coming to them. What's sad is not the fact that the IRS tax code is 7.5 million words long. It's that the U.S. Constitution is a fraction of that, and yet that's the governing document that deals with our society. Now, last year alone, there were about 1,000 changes in the tax code. Question is, did your tax professionals keep up on them? Did they keep up for the codes that deal just with your industry? So the key structure is building a structure that's right for you, identifying what entity works for you. Now, how is it that we go out and do that? So we're going to go ahead and break that down. Guys, remember how I talked about you never learn how structures work, you never learn how entities work? We're going to teach you that right now, okay? Do you have an entity that you work out of? That's the most important thing. Do you have an entity? Do you physically have a company that you work out of? Not Empower, that's the Dave's, but do you have a company that you work out of? If you don't, why don't you? Okay? Why do you not have an entity that you work out of? Why would you hold all that liability personally? Why would you allow something to happen inside of your business that if you did something wrong, said something wrong, and somebody came after you, that liability would be able to spill over to your loved one? Why would you allow that? Why would you want that to happen? That's very important. Why would you put everything that you work for at risk? That's the question. So what's right for you? No one knows your business better than you. Isn't that correct? You know what it is that you do. You know what it is that you want to do. You have your own vision. So what you need is unbiased information about the structure that are out there to be able to have the key, which is using that information and getting that education to make a good decision. The top audits out there, the top targets for the IRS, high net worth individuals, real estate investors and agents, loan officers, it's supposed to be loan officers, as an heir, 1099 independent contractors, S-corps, and the sole proprietor, guys, that I don't even put on there because that's a target all the time. People commingle their assets. Why are they a target? People commingle their business all the time. Think about you yourself. Use your business money to pay for your personal stuff, your personal money to pay for your business stuff. You have to be able to separate that. If you commingle, let me tell you what one of the things that can happen. The IRS, number one way to come after you is to disallow your company or your entity. How do they do that? If you do not run your business like a business, if there's no separation from your personal life and your business life, the deductions that you take, the IRS can go back up to 7 years, take those deductions and say, hey, Bob, you know all those deductions you took for the last 7 years? Well, those were for a business, but you decided not to run your business like a business. So therefore, we're going to go back 7 years. We're going to take all those deductions. We're going to slap on a Schedule C. We're going to apply 7 years worth of interest and penalties, and now you have the six-figure tax lien. Guys, I see it all the time. It makes me sad. Run your business like a business. Separate your liability. If you don't have a company, if you don't have an entity to work out of, you need to be able to have that and use that and work inside of it. Okay? Why are you guys a target? Because you commingle. Okay? You don't run your business like a business. You need to consider two things when setting up your business and your entity: taxability and attachability. I know one of them's not a word, but I made it a word so you guys can understand it. Better yet, I'm able to explain it. Taxability. It doesn't make any sense to make $1 million and give half of it back to the IRS, nor does it make any sense to have all these properties, this book of business with Empower, to own stocks, bonds, mutual funds, anything like that, have somebody sue it and take it away from you, okay? So the key here is creating wealth while protecting it at the very same time, which I like to fall under the concept of Rockefeller, the Rockefeller concept. You want to own nothing and you want to control everything, guys. Let me beat my slide and say this. Poor people out there want to own things. Rich people want to control things. Poor people want to own a Mercedes-Benz. They want to own the big house in the hills. Rich people say, I don't want to own a Mercedes-Benz. I just want to drive one every day. I don't want to own the big house in the hills. I just want my family to live there every day. $1 million question. If you don't own it, can somebody take it away from you? The answer is no. So having the least amount of ownership with having total control is what we're after. So there's all kinds of structures out there, guys. We can do it all. International, domestic, we can do them all. We can do structures from the four corners of the earth. We do not do, however, cookie-cutter templates. There's no setting up a structure that is best for them. How about we do a structure that's best for you? A lot of times you guys will hear people talk about these topics, and they'll say, set up an LLC, set up an S-corp, set up a corporation. Why is that? Because that's what they know how to do, or that's what they know how to align you up to for you to do and to teach you about. My question is, why do a structure that they only know how to do? How about you get brought all these different structures that you can do, and knowing your business and how it works, pick a structure that you can work in that's best for you. Now, let's talk about this. All kinds of entities and companies to set up out there, isn't there? You guys have heard about a ton of them. These are what some of them that people talk about: LLCs, LPs, C Corps, S Corps, sole proprietors, family limited partnerships, limited liability limited partnerships, on and on and on. Most people, however, are going to fall into one of three different categories, okay? One of three setups. And what are they? It's going to be the C Corp, the S Corp, or the LLC. So, knowing that, let's take an example. Let's go run $100,000 through them, and let's see what is going to be my taxability and what's going to be my taxability by running that money through there. So I'm going to run $100,000 of income through the C Corp, S Corp, and the LLC. Now, here's the difference, guys, what we get into. C's and S Corp, ownership is decided by stock. Stock is a tangible asset, okay? C Corps, for examples, are Microsoft and Oracle out there, Walmart, so on and so forth. Typically, they're publicly traded companies. They don't have to be. They can be privately held. But C Corp's ownership is by stock, okay? So let me show you how this works. Stock is a tangible asset. Tangible assets can be taken away, guys. So let's just say that you're going to go ahead and set up a C Corp. How does the tax work? Well, first of all, the corporation is going to pay tax right off the top. So 35% corporate tax right off the top. And if you are working for the corporation and you take a salary, well, now you're double taxed because the salary is taxed as ordinary income. So C Corps have a double taxation. S Corp, now, the beautiful thing about S Corps and what people will talk about is the S Corp is a C Corp that files for an S election. What that allows you to do is to take under the law a reasonable salary, which typically you work on the formula of 40-60. So 40% as reasonable salary, and the rest of the money then you're able to take as distributions. Now the beautiful thing about the distributions is they're not subject to FICA or self-employment tax. Now think about how great that would be if right off the top you didn't have to pay 15.3% of that money in tax. Now, how LLCs work, LLCs out there, ownership is decided by membership certificates. So ownership is not decided by stock, it's decided by membership certificates. What's even more important to this is that LLCs can choose its tax election. It can pay tax like a sole proprietor, it can pay tax like a corporation, it can pay tax as a partnership, it can take the S election. That's the beautiful thing. Now let's talk about charging order protection. If you have charging order protection, I want to show you how that works. Now, a lot of you guys are not aware that 80% of your publicly traded companies, they set up in Delaware because it protects its shareholders and its officers. But they hold their assets in Nevada. The reason why they hold their assets in Nevada and particularly put them into LLCs is because we have these 300 years of case law for charging order protection. What does charging order protection mean? First of all, I want to talk about the importance of the Nevada entity. Nevada LLCs, Nevada entities in particular, we are the only state in the nation that a foreigner can be in another state or in another country and own an entity in the state of Nevada and have the same rights as a Nevadan, as a person residing here, which is huge. You can hold assets in Nevada and have the same protections as if you were here, which is huge. The other thing that you need to understand and to know is that Nevada is the only state in the union that does not share information with the IRS. That's huge. It's not even in our Constitution. So you hear about Wyoming, Alaska, Delaware, all that stuff. Those are all people trying to put spins on the fact that they can't compete in the Nevada market and they want to try to find the next best thing for you to go in. But the bottom line is all those other states, a lot of what they're doing with their entities, their laws are so new that there isn't the case law to back and defend what it is that they're doing. Now, can we set up an entity in any other state? Yes. We have the ability with the resident agent to set up entities in any other state. So particularly, I don't care where you set up, but you need to set up what's best for you. Here's how the charging order protection works. There's membership certificates. Okay, this person takes $40,000 reasonable salary, $60,000 as distribution. Now, how it would work is, let's just say that individual was sued and got a judgment against them for $250,000. What happens there? Well, that lawsuit went through court, so it's registered with the clerk of court. Now, what happens is, you remember how I said that we don't share information with the IRS? There's one way that we do. We share it when there's a lawsuit because we don't like them here. And then when we share that information with the IRS says, hey, you, that sued and won a $250,000 judgment, where's our tax? Now, in the state of Nevada, in the year that you're sued, if you do not sell off your membership certificate, meaning your ownership of your company, if you don't take the money as distributions that year, there's nothing to get. So if you're being sued in the year that you're being sued, would I allow you to sell off your company? No. Would I suggest that you take distributions? No. So you're going to take it all as salary. What happens then? What happens then is that $250,000, the person that's trying to sue you can't get anything. Meanwhile, the IRS says, hey, you owe us 35% in tax. And the individual says, wait a minute, they never took distributions. They never sold their company. I couldn't get anything. The IRS says, that's too bad. You should have thought of that before you sued a Nevada entity that falls under the IRS tax code of phantom income. You now owe us 35% tax or $89,500 in money that you'll probably never see. How fast is that going to go away, that lawsuit? So that's something to think about, guys. That's big. Now, moving forward. Awesome information. I'm going to take this to my CPA. Let me ask you another $1 million question. If your CPA knew how to do this and didn't do it for you, why would you go back to them? If they didn't know how to do it, why would you stay with them? That's very important, okay? You've got to learn the difference between the rich mentality and the poor mentality. I'm going to beat this through your head again. Poor people want to own things, and rich people want to control things. That's very, very critical, okay? Why Nevada? Another reason. Now again, Vic will tell you, I can go into any state, anywhere in any country, and be able to set up your structure. But in Nevada, this is a decision that allows you to be able to be a foreigner or to be able to have live in a different state, hold assets in here, work out of an entity in the state of Nevada, and have the same rights as a resident. Okay, that's huge. Now, we can create structure for you, but more importantly, we can get capital for your business. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. I know you guys have been hanging on. How do I get cash for my business? There's a ton of money that has been set aside through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act that's available to you. If you want cash, it's obtainable. Most people are going to local banks trying to get money. Banks will lend you money on just about any day that doesn't end in Y. The reason for that is because the money that they had that was available, that was left over after the banks were bailed out, and the money that was left after all that took place was put into a pot that was stuck with the commercial side of banks. Well, you can't access commercial sides of banks. Unfortunately, they're the ones that have money. Why was it set there? It was set there to lend to small businesses. What's the problem there? Most businesses do not have a business credit profile that's built with the ability to attach to those business lines of credit. And that's where we come in. We can build the profiles. We know how to meet the underwriting guidelines to be able to allow even a startup brand new business that has hardly any receivables or is not even making any money, $50,000 to $150,000. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand. There's 3 different separate sections of lendability to you as an individual owning a business. If you have very good credit, and I want you guys to listen to this, if you have very good credit and a brand new business that isn't receiving a lot of income, there's money that's available to you. If you have poor credit, but you have receivables that are coming into the business, there is money that is available to you. And again, if you have very good credit and money coming into the business, of course, there is very good money that's available to you. You say, well, what if my personal credit is poor and I'm starting up my business? Then what we do is sweep your credit, get it up to par, have you meet the underwriting criteria, and then we get you out to the banks. How soon can we do this? If you meet the qualifications right off the start, you can be to an underwriter and be approved in as little as 7 to 10 days. If you don't have the money that's available, if you don't have the credit to be able to attach to it with very little receivables, and we need to build up your credit file, then you can have the money in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so that's important. The rates start out at 0% to 0.9% to start out, and then once it gets going, if you have good credit, 3 to 5 to 7% you can look at. If you don't have as good a credit or have acquired a lot more debt, you're talking about 8 to 9%. So that's important. Now, I want you guys to stay on this thing and see how it is that we bring this to fruition. I'm going to show you how to sew this all up. Now, what would you use that credit lines for? If you have this money, think about going out there and borrowing this money at 0% and buying leads that allows you to attach to people to grow your Empower business. That's huge. Think about using the money at 0% and putting it into investment that makes 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15% out there and making money on the side. People that know how to take money, other people's money, and leverage it and monetize it to be able to create wealth are the ones that create enough money to be able to retire and retire wealthy. And that's what we're going to be able to show you how to do. We have investment vehicles that you can go into to grow this wealth, to even use it to offset your tax liability. We talked about being able to use your retirement accounts as well. Did you know that you can roll out of your IRA, 401ks, or other investments out there and use it to be able to invest into your Empower business, to go all in, to grow your business, to create wealth, to buy leads, expand, so on and so many things? Those are things that are available out to you that we can do. So going into that a little bit further, we can help you lower your tax liability at the same time. You're going to create wealth. You're going to use this money to grow money. When you do that, you're going to have a higher tax liability. I also want you to understand that we can set up structures and we can set up programs where you can get to the end of the day and even owe, say, several hundreds of $1,000s in taxes and be able to set up your structure in a way to offset your tax liability so your tax liability is reduced to almost nothing and have that money go into an account that you can then invest and grow your wealth while offsetting your tax liability at the very same time. And that's very important for you guys to understand that those things are available for you out there. You need to learn and understand how to create non-taxable events. That's what we can do for you. To put more money in your pocket and less than Uncle Sam's, to get corporate compliant. If you guys have an old business and you haven't been running your business like a business, you need to go out there and scrub your books, is what I call it. You need to go out there and do the compliance things. Businesses meet, guys. They have formal meetings. Things go on. They have major events take place. Those things need to be recorded. You guys going to events and making purchases and expanding your business, going from a sole proprietor to a business, those events need to be recorded in your business to be able to show that you are separating your personal life from your business life. And that's critical. You've got to understand that that is the essence of being able to be an entrepreneur and to run your business properly, is to separate your business life from your personal life. You should never hold any title to assets personally. You don't hold personal title to retirement accounts, to properties, real estate, land, things like that. Your investments out there, you don't hold title to those personally. If you own them personally, they will sue you. Okay? And I can get into all kinds of things and structures and strategies with you guys on a one-on-one basis. If it's something that you want to do and move forward, that's what we do for you. If you go cheap on your structure in the beginning, you just need to understand it's going to be expensive in the end. Guys, at the end of the day, you're going to pay somebody. So there's a couple things that you need to think about. Do you want to pay Uncle Sam at the end of the day, or do you want to pay yourself? Because you're going to cut a check to one or two places. Wouldn't it be great if you can cut that check that was going to go out to Uncle Sam to you to be invested and offset your tax liability at the same time? That's important. If you don't spend the money to structure yourself, if you don't do things properly now, if you don't get proactive and do things to set up your business in a way that separates your business from your personal while being able to have full control and lower your tax liability, it is going to be an expensive learning experience for you guys. You will pay. These are just a few things that we're going to educate. Now, I hit a lot of brass tacks because this was just an introductory to be able to educate you guys on things that are available to you. We always want to share our knowledge. Knowledge is immortal, guys. It passes on and on and on, okay? Now, the most important thing, things are tough out there. You're trying to learn how to start your business. These guys have been fighting for about 13 years, okay? Now, I don't know who's going to win this battle, but that's very important, guys, that you understand that it's a battle. It's a war of attrition out there. It's a battle of efforts. You guys have to decide, are you going to invest in yourself? Are you going to be all in? Are you guys going to go and do the things that you need to do to be proactive, to be successful, to protect yourself, to hold on to more of your money, to be able to retire, things like that? I want to give an eye-opener to you guys. If you're a baby boomer born between 1946 and 1964, do you guys know you need about $1.2 to $1.5 million to retire? Just to sustain your way of life. If you don't have that, then you guys that are clicking off, you guys have no reason to be clicking off. If you guys don't know how to create that kind of wealth to be able to retire, that's the money that you need to have just to be able to sustain your way of life now. If you're an X generation, guys, you need $4 or $5 million to equal what the baby boomers needed to be able to retire. If you don't have that, if you don't know how to get that, you need to learn how to be able to attach to that, and we'll teach you how to do that. So, how is it that you're going to learn a lot of these things? Here's our information. You guys can write it down. I know I'm going to get bombarded with calls. Denver was an educational experience for me. Now, I'm going to go to this next slide here, and I'm going to introduce what it is that we're doing, and I want Vic to come on here so that he can help me to introduce this. We have decided through, actually Vic went and brought this to you, so you need to be able to send emails to him and comment and talk to him. He brought a lot of these educational pieces that are going to be created to be able to put more money in your pocket. Now, he's partnered up with us and asked us, can you do an event just for my guys to be able to teach these things? And so what we did is we decided to do that. What are we going to talk about at this event? Learning how to obtain a limited unsecured business license of credit in as little as 7 to 10 days. Huge. To be able to learn how to legally reduce your tax liability by 15 to 50%. Super huge. To be able to go out there and to learn how to buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, invest in things. 100% tax-free on a 45-year-old program set up by the IRS. This is really huge. If you want to know the things that Warren Buffett invests in, if you want to know how it is that he made $1 billion and yet got on the TV airways and said he paid less tax than his secretary, I'm going to show you guys that program, which is really huge. Now, here's even more. We're going to learn how to obtain non-recourse loans versus recourse loans where the bank can come after you. How do I obtain non-recourse loans? Learning how to understand the pitfalls that owners make when first starting a business. You guys are running into some of them. There's more that are out there. How do you jump around this so that this doesn't affect you? How do you use real estate and other investments to offset huge tax liability? You know, real estate is the wealthy person's big boy tax deduction. We're going to show how to be able to use that to create wealth, to be able to offset tax liability, and to be able to grow your business. Now, there's more. We're going to learn how the powerful tools of international and domestic business structures. When do I got to go offshore? With all this stuff that's happening and Empower expanding to the four corners of the earth in all these different languages, guys, there's 330 million people here. There's 9 billion people around the world. Now, I want you guys to understand something. When I saw this thing about Empower, and I saw that you could start your own business and get going in a small business and not have to break rocks and break your back and work out in the sun and go get a JOB, but you could be your own boss and have unlimited income potential for $5,000, guys, you're insane out there. If you guys do not understand the opportunity that you have, $5,000 to grow your business, I wish that I could have went back 14 years and the cumulative of $5,000 today I could have put in and invested to start my business. That's unbelievable. Think about it, guys. You're in an AC room behind your computer with the TV on and you're going to work. You don't have to answer to anybody else. You don't have to respond to anybody else. Nobody has to tell you what to do or how much or how little you work, or when you can take vacation, or any of these things. You write your own ticket. So we're going to talk about some of these things right here, and we're going to talk about how to pass your estate and the money that you do make at the end of the day to your loved ones, children, tax-free, how to survive the tax increases of Obamacare. Guys, you need to be aware of that. It doesn't matter if they defund it, because you got to understand a couple aspects of it. Let's say Obamacare gets defunded. Big whoop. The taxes have already been voted on, and they're going to be implemented. You can defund Obamacare. You will deal with the taxes that are left behind. You need to learn how to completely legally clean your credit file. Guys, people out there make money, and they have these horrendous credit files. Credit is cash, and cash is king, and we can help you to do both. How to create wealth while protecting it at the very same time, and learn how to control everything and own nothing. This is huge, guys. You need to learn how to make money, create wealth, control what it is that you do, and have very little ownership so people cannot attach and take things away from you. But more importantly, the secrets of the wealthy that they've been taking advantage of that you haven't been made self-aware of for the last 40 years. Now, this is what's really important, and I want Vic to jump on here. This is the event. Guys, I cannot tell you, today I got hundreds of calls alone. If you are there and you see this, this is the link to be able to come on to the event. At the event, we're going to talk about all those things, many, many more. We're going to have huge giveaways. One of the things that we're going to do is give away this book, this tax planning and education book for small businesses that the average person saves tens of thousands of dollars just by using it, that has all the investment strategies that are available out there for the ultra wealthy, that talk about all the different investments and things that you can do, how to use the investments to offset tax liability, all the internal revenue codes that go along with all the deductions that are available for small businesses, with all the case law decisions and all the laws that have to deal with it, that'll allow you to take that and go to your tax professional and put a ton of money in your pocket. And then if you want to go do things that you want to on your own, you know how to do things. You have this workbook that you can always attach to, that you can use to benefit for you for as long as you work, as long as you live. This is critical. Guys, I can't tell you, there was probably 4,000 or 5,000 people trying to get in on this event, on this workshop today that we had, the streaming video. They're dying. I've had people since Denver calling, trying to get into this event. We didn't pre-sell any tickets to allow everybody to have the open opportunity. But I'm going to tell you, there's only a limited amount of seats, and if you don't go there and register, as fast as this thing went away today, and the ability for people to come and log on and listen, that ended and was done in as little as 27 seconds, if you guys don't take advantage of that, you guys will miss out on a huge opportunity that you have to be able to grow your business. And Vic, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to talk about the funnel. How exactly do you get people into that funnel, convert people, where to go to advertise, the whole 9 yards. Why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Can you hear me, Nick?
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. Here is let me ask you this, man, and this I want to ask you. I know, but this is something you said that, you know, when I first heard about this, I'm like, man, this is just absolutely ridiculous, crazy. So you were talking about this line of credit that business people can, you know, businesses can go out there and get, right? So let's say if I got a line of credit for, you know, $100,000, for example, and I go out there and I purchase an investment. Let's say it's a real estate, right? I go and I get some liens and stuff like that, right? Some property liens, and I purchase that for, let's say, you know, 50 cents on the dollar, or 40 cents, or 30 cents on the dollar. I can actually take that money. I can actually take my line of credit, that's somebody else's money. I can go out there and make these investments, let's say in real estate, and I get the property for, let's say, 30, 40, 50 cents, 60 cents on the dollar, whatever. And I can actually put tenants or whatever into that property, and and I can have a positive cash flow coming in, and I can take that cash flow and pay out this line of credit that, let's say my credit is fair, 0 or like 1% or whatever for the first year, and I can actually use somebody else's money to grow my other, this nest egg here that just perpetuates wealth building. Is that about right?
Yeah, you hit on a couple of things. First of all, can you open up the presenter chat so if there's questions I can kind of see
And if I open it,
what people are
it's
saying?
gonna go crazy, man. I already know because we did it.
Okay. All right, we'll hold off on that a little bit. Now let's talk about that. Rather than actual physical property, one of the things that we're able to do is go out and get like first trust deeds and tax liens. So wealth structures not only protect assets, but we also create investment vehicles for our investors and our clients to be able to attach to grow wealth with the things that they're doing, and we do that as a benefit to them. A couple things that we're going to be talking about. One of them is what you're talking about. So first trust deeds or tax liens. Let's say you have a $200,000 property. Somebody didn't pay the property tax of $20,000. We're going to be able to go out there and get that lien for you for $10,000. You go in there, you take over the property, you put tenants in there, you get passive income, you sell the property, you get the money comes to you, use it to grow your business, or you could take that passive income that's coming in off properties, use it to pay off debts, pay off your line of credit, use it to invest in other investments, grow your business, whatever you want to do with it. So that's one thing, yes, definitely, that we're going to talk about that. We're going to bring in somebody to talk specifically about that, how the investments work, how it is that we go through them, the fact that somebody can sit out there and not have to be a landlord and still have the same rates of return of people that buy properties out there. The other thing that we're going to talk about is something called debtor in possession financing. It's been available only to the ultra wealthy for years. People that are looking to put $45 million or more into investments. It just got brought up to about $75 million or more. If you could go out there and invest in the fact that a lot of businesses out there are struggling and need to seek like Chapter 11 bankruptcy to be able to protect their business and to cram down their debts. One of the things we're going to talk about is, well, who comes in there and invests in things to be able to
Flow and pay out this line of credit that, let's say my credit is fair, 0 or like 1% or whatever for the first year, and I can actually use somebody else's money to grow my other, this nest egg here that just perpetuates wealth building. Is that about right?
Yeah, Yeah, you hit on a couple of things. First of all, can you open up the presenter chat so if there's questions I can kind of see
Man, if I open it,
what people are saying?
it's gonna go crazy, man. I already know because we did it.
Okay.
It might,
All right, well, hold off on that a little bit. Now, let's talk about that. Rather than actual physical property, one of the things that we're able to do is go out and get like first trust deeds and tax liens. So wealth structures not only protect assets, but we also create investment vehicles for our investors and our clients to be able to attach to grow wealth with the things that they're doing. And we do that as a benefit to them. A couple things that we're going to be talking about. One of them is what you're talking about. So first trust deeds or tax liens. Let's say you have a $200,000 property. Somebody didn't pay the property tax of $20,000. We're going to be able to go out there and get that lien for you for $10,000. You go in there, you take over the property, you put tenants in there, you get passive income, you sell the property, you get the money comes to you, use it to grow your business, or you could take that passive income that's coming in off properties, use it to pay off debts, pay off your line of credit, use it to invest in other investments, grow your business, whatever you want to do with it. So that's one thing, yes, definitely, that we're going to talk about that. We're going to bring in somebody to talk specifically about that, how the investments work, how it is that we go through them, the fact that somebody can sit out there and not have to be a landlord and still have the same rates of return of people that buy properties out there. The other thing that we're going to talk about is something called debtor in possession financing. It's been available only to the ultra wealthy for years. People that are looking to put $45 million or more into investments. It's just got brought up to about $75 million or more. If you could go out there and invest in the fact that a lot of businesses out there are struggling and need to seek like Chapter 11 bankruptcy to be able to protect their business and to cram down their debts. One of the things we're going to talk about is, well, who comes in there and invests in things to be able